The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network. This is Vince Russo's The Brand.
Hey ho! Hey Jeff, you see everybody loves my homage to Finn Balor at the top of the shows now. You see, a positive came out of a negative. Finn Balor gave us something to use for the show. Even though in Atlanta, I must point out that there were only about 10 people that did the hey ho, because like I looked at the crowd and they had no idea that they were supposed to participate at that point in time, because obviously was not a lot of NXT watches, but a lot of people seem to like hey ho. And hello everybody, this is Vince Russo, this is Lions, Tigers, Bears, and Disco. I'm here with Disco Inferno and Jeff Lane. Fellas, how you doing today?
I have to say, Vince, for those that don't know, I try to develop a nice format for the show. I sent it to Vince and Glenn a few hours beforehand, and I think Glenn is doing this show under protest because I got an email not long before we came on the air saying that he does not agree to the format for this show.
Well, Jeff, this is why nobody wants to work with Glenn. I mean, exactly reasons like this. And let me tell you something, Disco. Let me set up the beginning of the show this way. I said to myself after last week, and I promised you no more Gilbernetti. I was going to call you by your best name, by your right name, and I was going to take it easy on you, and I was going to turn a new leaf, and I was going to be nicer to you. So I'm telling myself, okay, be nicer to Disco, be nicer to Disco, be nicer to Disco. So what does Disco do yesterday? He goes on Twitter and puts a ridiculous picture of himself like he was on the cover of Vogue magazine. So I'm looking at this picture, Jeff, and I'm saying serenity now, but how can I not jump all over this lunatic for actually putting his face on the cover of Vogue magazine like that would ever happen?
Well, that was a professional-looking shot. Like, I thought that was a cover of GQ by looking at it. You know, I think that could have been on GQ, not Vogue.
It was legit. A fan sent that to me. I didn't have nothing to do with that.
Well, no,
a fan sent that to me.
A fan sent it to you, and you put it up all over the place, correct?
Yeah, I'm on the cover of Vogue magazine. Why wouldn't I post that?
Now, bro, I thought last week you had gotten a haircut. Now, what did you get, another haircut because I told you the one last week looked lousy?
No, you said my hairstyle looked lousy. My haircut was like 3 weeks ago. I get my haircut every 3 weeks. I got one yesterday. And you saw me. I posted that on Twitter also for my fans.
Now, why do you get a haircut every 3 weeks?
Because it grows to the length that it needs to be cut, and then I cut it again.
He's not lazy like the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean, I just get it. I get my haircut. What's the big deal?
Bro, what do you think would be your chances of actually appearing on the cover of Vogue magazine?
Excellent.
All right, listen, let's get into the news. Let's get into item number one. Go ahead, Jeff.
Eric Bischoff revealed in an interview on Main Event Radio, and this took place, I guess, at the Montreal Comic-Con, that he has a lawsuit currently against TNA. Now, he didn't get into specifics, but they were asking him about TNA, and they asked him what went wrong with TNA, and he said, I tried to put them both out of my mind, so I couldn't tell you. No comment. I'm in the middle of a lawsuit with them, so I can't really comment. And then they asked him if he had any positive memories from his time in TNA, and he said, I don't have any.
Well, Jeff, let me first say this wasn't a reveal because, I mean, you know, he's mentioned this lawsuit before. This lawsuit is over money. BHE, Bischoff Hervey Entertainment, apparently claimed TNA owes them some money. I don't know, bro. I'm not getting involved in their finances. But, Glenn, I want to ask you a question, bro. Tell me if I'm way off base here, okay? Because, obviously, Glenn, we make our living in the wrestling business, so, we live it every day and we know what goes on every day. But, Glenn, I would love for somebody to go back in time and literally look at the amount of lawsuits that have been filed within the wrestling business. Glenn, I would have to guess, would you think that in our industry there are more lawsuits filed than perhaps any other industry?
I've never thought of it. I know there's a lot. It seems like there's a lot based on the amount of people that perform in it that have been on TV. I don't know. I'm thinking. I thought about suing you at one point for discrediting my good name for slander. So I mean, we could it seems like the thing to do is sue. I mean, maybe there's a bunch of lawyers that are doing these things for free and just getting stuff on the back end, so it's easy to sue and stuff. And I don't know, bro. It's just, to me, lawsuits are they're not interesting.
Glenn, were you ever involved in a lawsuit at all throughout your wrestling career?
No.
Glenn,
nope. And I'm surprised. I'll be honest with you. The WCW discrimination lawsuit, the racism lawsuit that they had, I was very surprised that they never even interviewed us, since we were like part of the booking team when this thing was going on.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, Glenn, that blows me away because everybody thinks I was a part of that lawsuit. I was never a part of the lawsuit. I was, they never interviewed me, never spoke to me, nothing, bro, nothing. I had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yeah. That was
Glenn,
crazy.
Glenn, why do you think the wrestling business warrants so many lawsuits? Do you think it's the independent contractor? Do you think, wrestlers being wrestlers, do you think it's their way to perhaps make an easy buck? I mean, bro, there's so many freaking lawsuits all the time. There's got to be a reason for it. If you had to pinpoint one thing, what would you say that is?
That if some people, maybe lawyers, are going to these guys and explaining to them that they're eligible for compensation if they file suit, and that's an easy sell to like anybody, really. If you say, hey, bro, I think if you tell them your story, you might be eligible for some compensation here. Let's sue. Then that's how hard is that to say? No, I don't want any money. I'm not going to sue. Who's going to say that, right?
Yeah, but you know what the interesting thing about that is, Glenn? I'm wondering if that's lawyers who want to make a name for themselves, at the expense of Vince McMahon or the WWE, or I'm just curious, what that really comes to.
I couldn't answer that for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never. Like I said, they don't interest me. When I hear about the lawsuits in wrestling, I'm like, ugh,
Yeah, no, Glenn, I'm like you. Glenn, I was sued by Hogan. The only time I've ever been involved in anything like that in my entire freaking life, and it was the worst. It was the worst experience I ever had to go through. It was stupid. It was ridiculous. It was asinine. To sue me over defamation of character of a wrestling promo in a wrestling ring. But I'm going to say this about Bischoff and Hogan, bro. TNA has never, ever, ever been able to recover from hiring Bischoff and Hogan, and it has nothing to do with creative. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with Dixie Carter wanted Hulk Hogan. That's what she wanted in Dixie's mind, having Hulk Hogan. She was a mark. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. In her mind, having Hulk Hogan was going to turn her company around. Well, of course, Hogan piggybacked Bischoff into the deal. Dixie did not need Eric Bischoff. She did not want Eric Bischoff. But, obviously Hogan worked her into making Bischoff a part of that deal. She paid them money that she could not afford to pay them. And, but obviously that money wasn't enough. Now, apparently Bischoff's still suing them for money. But in my opinion, that's what set TNA in the direction that they're currently in financially, paying those guys a price that they could not afford to pay them. And obviously, it looks like that law. Now there's another lawsuit, so they may continue to pay, even though the deal is long gone.
So, do you mind? Do you want me to comment on that?
Listen, are you okay today, bro? Are you with me today? Did your girlfriend break up with you, bro? Hello.
You just went off on a rant about something that we weren't even discussing, and I don't even know what I'm supposed. You didn't even ask. You didn't ask me a question. You just made a statement. What do you want me to say? Do you want me to agree with you or disagree with you? Bro, TNA's been having money problems since they opened. This is like not like that didn't set him back. What set him? They've been on a downward. What set him back is just the wrestling industry. Period has been on a downward slope for the past 15 years. That's it's just a product of it. I mean, that's I mean.
Let's go off topic here for a second. I watched TNA yesterday.
Which one?
Last week's show, not the new show. Right. I watched last week's show, so I
told you to watch it. I told you.
Yeah, I saw the 2 episodes with Rosemary. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Give me where are you now with TNA? Because I've watched the last couple of shows. Just what are you seeing? What do you think? I'm talking about the product now.
I saw them. The show they produced last week was a show that was geared more towards trying to accumulate outside new people to watch the show. Because the one thing I did notice is that this is last week because this is going to air tomorrow. But the one thing I noticed, a lot of in-ring stuff, character development, interviews, stuff like that. And the matches were not just your typical match. They had the big hardcore matches visual. It was like the top of show that I thought that if you're changing the channel and you're looking at what's on, you have to stop and see what's going on here. The thing with the Eli Drake with the dummy thing. I'm like, if you're watching that and you catch that, you're going like, you have to sit there and say, what is this? What is this weird guy doing? You know what I'm saying? So to me, the show was written and came across as a show that was trying to grab eyeballs. And that's bro, you can bury content all you want, specific angles, bro. People, everything you wrote wasn't great. You can pick apart like an angle or something, but the way they produced that show, I thought was the type of show that a channel surfer might stop on the show and say, what is going on here? Let me watch this for a minute.
Yeah, Glenn, I agree with you, and that's the way we always wrote TV. Unfortunately, bro, I think it's going to take a lot more than that to get the audience. A lot more than that, bro.
It's going to take time. It's going to take time. The one thing I think that really holds them back, and the thing that glaring to me on that show is, major problem is the sound. I don't like the sound. The sound is just not. It's not profound enough. It's not loud enough. It's just like it's in an echo. It's in a chain. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's like the sound comes across like they're in an empty room, and the post production of crowd noise. That's the thing I think that holds them back, because the visual, it's like that's not that bad,
Yeah.
That's that show. I actually watched the show, and there were segments I had to watch them from start to finish because I want to see what will happen. I thought the Eli Drake character was very. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that.
Glenn, I'll tell you what I did. What I really didn't like, and I want to get your spin on this. Just watching it, bro. I mean, and again, I'm watching it being fair, and I'm watching it. Oh, if Vince were writing the show, Glenn, I'll tell you the one thing that I was really opposed to, bro, was beating Matt Hardy. Like, I know it's a fake wrestling match. I know that, and I understand it, but all the steam they've put behind this guy, like, my whole point is, bro, like, I have no problem with EC3. I'm a huge fan of EC3. I have no problem with EC3 beating Matt Hardy and continuing on. Matt Hardy doesn't need the belt. But my whole thing is, if I'm writing that, creatively, I would have found a way not to put him in that tournament so I wouldn't have to beat him. I mean, the guy's been on such a roll. He's been doing such a good job. And I know it's, like I said, but I know it's a fake wrestling match. I just hated beating the guy. I don't think they had to do that. What was your take on that, Glenn?
I didn't like it, but I'm going to give them, there's specific things that happen because you don't know where they're headed. See the next couple weeks and stuff where they go. It's not if it's used correctly. If 2 weeks from now we forgot that Matt Hardy got beat, then does it really matter?
Glenn, I think it does. I'm going to disagree with you there because I think the minute he lost, I think that minute he loses a little luster. Bro, of course we're going to forget about it 2 weeks from now. We forget about every loss 2 weeks from now. But I think him losing at that moment, he loses a little luster. I believe that. Now, I give them credit, bro, because right on the other side of it, they cut a good pre-tape with him, so they tried to make you forget, and they purposely did that, and I liked that. But I can't help as I think you took a little luster off the guy, and there just was no reason to. That's all.
Okay, say you're a critic for Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, did you give that show a Rotten Tomato or a good review?
I gave it a 5 on a scale of 10. Glenn, listen, I'm just telling you, bro. Here's what I saw. Okay, bro, I applaud the fact that they're trying to follow up the final deletion with Rosemary. I really applaud the fact, but I got to tell you, it's nowhere near the final deletion. The story is very, very boring. I'm just being honest with you. I love the fact that they're making sense out of her character. I love it, but this is not the final deletion where Jeff Hardy's on the motorcycle and the Druids are coming over him. This was not that. So I applaud them for what they tried to do. This was a little drawn out and was starting to get boring to me. But Jeff, I mean, Glenn, you'll appreciate this, bro, because I'd love to know who's doing this. It looked like Jeff Jarrett was booking the show, because everything with Jeff, bro, was like, there's never the clean finish. This guy's involved. That guy gets involved. The shovel gets involved. This gets involved. They're outside of the thing. That was how Jeff Jarrett booked. And I just felt like that's how this show was booked. Now, if you're going to have, one match that way, like the match with, Abyss and those guys, if you're going to have one match that way, that's fine. But it just felt to me like every freaking match was convoluted, and I just thought it was too much. So I would give them a 5 on a 10.
That's fine. I thought it was like this, to me, I don't care about how good the show is. Because I'm more concerned with stylistically what type of show they're putting on. Okay, and I don't want to see a bunch of cold wrestling matches with guys that everybody thinks are good workers put it on a match the internet's going to rate between 2.5 and 4 stars, whatever the rating they give, which is irrelevant. I just want to see storyline. I want to see character development. Like I said, I'm interested in some of these characters now because I want to see what they're doing, what they're doing to develop them. That Eli Drake thing, that is one of the most. I don't know what to think about that guy. Because I'm like, this guy's like a really, weird character, with the dummy thing. I would have never, bro, that's got to be Corgan with the thing with the dummy, dummy, like the whole thing. It just seems like a really, it's an interesting character.
It is. I agree with that. Bro, I want to pick your brain on this, Glenn. I want you to put on your booking shoes for a minute. Because somebody has to explain this to me, bro. I don't know if just overthinking it. Somebody has to explain this to me, okay? I came on here last week and I talked about Finn Balor, and I talked about Finn Balor beating Rusev and Reigns in one night, that it wasn't believable, whatever. Okay, so now we come back with the following week and we put a microphone in this guy's hands, and it was horrible. It was absolutely atrocious. Okay, now, again, bro, this is not if Finn Balor can't cut a promo, he can't cut a promo. We all can't cut promos. I worked with people that couldn't cut promos. But when somebody couldn't cut a promo, I knew that, and I did my best to protect that person. The last thing I would do is give a microphone on a live show. That's not how you protect your talent. But here's my question, Glenn, that somebody's got to explain this to me. Of all the time I've seen Finn Balor, the only time I've said, holy crap, was when I saw that demon character come out in an entrance like I never saw before. That stopped me. You talk about stopping a viewer dead in their tracks. That stopped me. Holy crap. Who is this guy? It got my attention. Bro, maybe one of the best entrances I've ever seen in wrestling. Okay? They do that for the big shows. Every other show in between, the guy comes out looking like an Arthur Fonzarelli wannabe. He comes out in a leather jacket. He looks like a small guy. He can't cut a promo. So basically, Glenn, as a booker, in my opinion, what you're telling the crowd is, especially the casual fans, don't tune in to see this guy for 4 straight weeks because he's vanilla and he's boring and he can't cut a promo. Just tune in to see his big entrances on the Big Show. I mean, that's basically what they're telling you. Let me finish. The rest of these shows are not important. We only dress him up for the big shows. My thing is this, bro, why not make the freaking entrance and the face paint and all that stuff his freaking gimmick, not let the guy speak? Let that be Finn Balor. Bro, that guy is a million times better than the guy you saw in the ring cutting the promo this past week. That was horrendous. WWE has the money to do that. Why would you not do that on a consistent basis?
Bro, you're being way over analytical and way too critical. Okay? The guy's been on the show for 2 weeks. Okay?
Okay, no, let me stop you right there, bro. I've watched him on NXT before. This isn't the first 2 times I've seen him.
Okay. You watch him on NXT. I haven't. All right. So I don't watch NXT. Okay, so I'm watching Raw. All right, and I'd have to go I can go back and look at the replays, but from an episodic standpoint, I'm not an NXT watcher. Okay, here's the one thing that stuck out that I enjoyed. Okay, and that I think would just be let give them a chance to produce this character the way like I said, bro. We're 2 weeks into his Raw debut. All right, number one, when he walked through the curtain, I was like, yeah, this guy's I'm thinking like an indie guy, a guy that doesn't really. You know how like the younger guys don't really know how to milk the audience in their entrance. They're too fast. They rush everything, bro. He walked through the curtain. That was the first thing that I was thinking as he's going back and forth the stage. Bro, then I watched the entrance. I was like, wow, this guy really has a cool entrance and really knows how to pose and stop and milk this thing. I'd never seen his entrance before. Go back and watch his entrance. It's a very he does his entrance like a superstar, and he's kind of mixed it with that kind of like shy, unassuming, the type of personality you can tell he's got in real life, right? But he's got the good entrance that he milks. That's kind of like flamboyant. I want to call it flamboyant because he does weird things in his entrance. Where he hooks his legs on the top turnbuckle and goes. I mean, I thought it was very entertaining. Okay, I know he can't. I know he's not a good promo, and because I've seen his promos in NXT, they're hard to watch if you're a fan. Okay, but what if we give them a chance? What if they produce this character like, here's this kid. He's very talented. He's very shy and unassuming. His promos are not good. He can't talk. But what happens when he becomes the demon? I'm going to wait to see what happens when they produce the demon character and how that character is portrayed on TV before I criticize what they've done with Finn Balor so far. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say about that topic.
But Glenn, I understand this, and I'm not talking about that topic yet. When we're done talking about the topic, I'll say so. Okay. First of all, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me address what you just. Bro, you think I can say something, then you could browbeat me, and it's the end of the discussion. It doesn't work that way, bro. Okay, so now let me chime in. First of all, he's been on for 2 weeks, and there's been no discussion of a demon character. Okay, that's first of all. So they've been a presentation, and they've not talked about this alter ego or whatever it is. That's number one. Okay, now, bro, I'll play the devil's advocate. So maybe we don't find out about the demon character until SummerSlam, until he comes out the first time with this phenomenal entrance that I'm talking about, okay? So now he comes out with this phenomenal entrance on SummerSlam. People say, holy crap, holy shit, unbelievable, right? Okay, bro, the following night, he comes back out as Finn Balor. Now you're going to tell me, if I'm a casual fan and I saw this magnificent entrance the night before, and he comes out in his leather jacket with no pomp and circumstances the following night, that I'm not going to sit there and say, What the frick happened to that other really cool entrance and that other really cool character?
You're making hypothetical situations
No,
right now.
that's the way they booked him in NXT, bro. That's the way he was booked.
He's not in NXT anymore. He's on Raw.
All right,
I'm gonna give him.
I'm
gonna
bro. We'll talk about it after, and we'll talk about it after SummerSlam when it's the exact way that I said it's going to happen.
I want to make a point. Okay, and I think that the reason you're it's become almost like you're kind of repetitive with your shtick sometimes. It's like we get a lot of your points. We understand where you're coming from, stuff, and I think when you cloud your judgment sometimes. When you don't, you just assume that they're going to do everything because there's a history of them. It's, you could assume that they're going to screw things up, okay, because they've done it repeatedly. But I'm getting away from that. I found myself I'm too critical of the show. I'm too critical of this. The way I look at these shows right now is they've decided to reboot them. Visually, both shows look different. Both shows are going forward with kind of a different philosophy in the way they're producing these shows, like from a creative, character developed standpoint or whatever. Bro, I'm not gonna criticize them on a weekly basis. I'm gonna look forward and I want to make predictions and look 8 to 10 weeks from now and see if I was right. Okay, because I want to be wrong. Okay, I want to assume that they're going to screw something up and have them show me that they did something right. Okay, but I'm going to give them the chance because we have new characters on the show, and basically, I just want to. I'm not going to bury this. We're 2 weeks into this brand split, bro. I'm not going to.
I understand what you're saying. First of all, obviously you didn't watch SmackDown. Okay, okay, well, good. I watched SmackDown too, and I put SmackDown over. Okay, mm-hmm. I liked SmackDown. I enjoyed SmackDown. If it's good, I'm going to put it over. I'm not going to be critical for the sensation of being critical. I put SmackDown over. Ambrose and Ziggler cut a hell of a promo, loaded with emotion, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. I am going to be critical from a creative standpoint when the guy's on the main stage for his second week and you give him a live mic when you know he can't cut a promo. Nothing good is going to come out of that. That promo, bro, did not help Finn Balor. That promo last week he beats 2 guys, okay? Now you want to top that. Now you want to get him to the next level. Giving him a microphone when you know he can't cut a promo is not going to advance him, bro. It's going to set him back. I don't need to be watching for the next 10 weeks to know that, Glenn.
Bro, he wasn't the only guy in the ring cutting the promo.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm looking at his part of the promo, bro. You know this is not his strong suit. Why would you put him out there week number 2 with a live mic?
It's 2 weeks. I mean, if they try to stick him out there every single week and do the same thing, I'm going to sit there and say, bro, you have to stick him out there at some point. I give him a few lines to say.
Glenn, I agree with you. At some point, not the second week. Okay, at some point, yes, not the second week.
But what I'm saying is, here's the problem. You're nitpicking.
Oh,
God. And you are.
Oh, God. Jeff, what's the next topic, bro? I'm not nitpicking when a promo. The promo sucked, bro. I'm not nitpicking. Put Rollins and Balor next to Ziggler and Ambrose. The promo sucked. There's no nitpicking, bro. It was horrible. Horrible. What nitpicking?
But because what you're doing is you're just criticizing it. Here's the thing. You went on your little thing with your Finn Balor thing, okay? You went on your little Lucky Charms. You put your thing. You got the backlash from the Irish community. I know it's hysterical. And now you're basically doubling down. So you're going to try to. What you're doing is
I'm not doubling down on Balor.
Yes, you are.
Bro, listen, you need to. You're getting just like these idiots.
The reason we know you're doubling down.
To what I said. I said we all can't be 5-tool wrestlers. I said that. I said if Finn Balor can't cut a promo, if that's not his strong suit, no problem. I've worked with thousands of guys that can't cut promos. I said that. My point is Vince McMahon should not have put him in that spot his second show. That's my point, bro.
Okay,
it's
that's
got
fine.
nothing to do with Finn Balor, bro.
It's fine, but
to do with him. If he can't cut a promo, you got to protect the guy.
all right. But I'm just saying, I think that
What are you trying to become an internet darling now, bro?
absolutely not. But I think the way that how upset you're getting speaks volumes, because I'm just sitting there saying, bros, okay, it wasn't good. We know it wasn't good. We know he can't talk, but they're obviously going to this demon character, and I want to see. I want to wait till they get there and see what they do afterwards. Okay, because like I said, I'm giving him a chance. I'm not going to nitpick. Bro, the guy's been on for 2 weeks. Okay. That's just 2 weeks, and he's got a fan base. He's got these NXT, this internet wrestling crowd that likes him and something. So I'm going to give him more than 2 weeks to expand his audience.
You're so missing my point. You're totally missing the point.
I'm not totally not missing.
Part of the job of creative is to protect the talent. That's part of your job.
When have they done that with anybody? When have they done that with anybody?
So that doesn't mean I shouldn't get mad when they don't, because I would have protected the guy, bro.
No.
Okay?
No, I'm not saying you should get mad if you don't, but what I'm saying is when you're doing this, you're just sounding very repetitive because we know the problem.
How could I sound repetitive when this is the first promo the guy cut on Raw? How am I repeating myself?
It's a problem that they're having with the show. The way they book the show, the way they write the show, it's the same things. We criticize the same things. It's like everybody knows what our philosophy is. It's like I think what you do sometimes when you criticize this is you repeat your philosophy ad nauseum, which we already know. Okay, I want to be like the thing is like we know. I'm not saying this is a good show, bro, but I'm saying if I'm gonna watch it, I know what they're doing wrong. I know the problems that they have. I know they haven't, with all the writing they do and stuff, they haven't written these guys anything worthwhile that's catchy. And any catchphrases or anything and stuff like that. So I know they're not going to give that to Balor when he goes out there. So they're not going to protect Balor when they write his promos because he's not going to say anything interesting because nobody says anything interesting. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So to criticize the Balor promo saying you're going to protect himself, bro, I knew that was going to happen.
Okay.
The only thing I'm more interested is you know what I'm saying? So
I'm going to go to the next point because you said nobody says anything interesting, and the Ambrose Ziggler promo was one of the best promos I've seen in the last year.
Time out.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is you want to talk about putting something over to nauseam? I've put over to nauseam how good Ambrose and Ziggler was. Okay, I put that up because you had two guys that were ready, willing, and able to deliver that kind of a promo. When you have a guy that is not able to deliver a promo his second week on Raw, you don't set him up for failure. Okay?
I agree. But here's the thing, bro. Here's one last thing. This would be we just wasted a lot of time if you think about the big picture. This would have been so much of a better discussion if we would have just talked about the Ambrose Rollins. If we just talked about the things that stick out that are good on the show, I think these would be more entertaining discussions because they're so few and far between. Okay, we could sit there and nip it. Every week there's going to be stuff that we don't like. Okay, and so when we bring it up, it sounds like we're beating a dead horse. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think, and you see it on Twitter, bro. I mean, people think that's what we sound like sometimes. I don't want to sound like that much anymore. Because it's like if it's like the campaign trail. It's like I feel like I'm Donald Trump and I'm sitting there saying we're going to build a wall and it's going to be incredible. I was like, okay, we get it. You've been saying that for 12 months. Okay, I want to point out some of the things that I have liked, which is, bro. I've actually liked some things lately.
Bro, I'll tell you what. Since the All-Star break. The Giants are like 4-14. Okay,
yes.
if they continue to lose, bro, I'll start putting them over. Okay, when they're 4-16, I'll come on here and I'll put them over. When they're 4-20, I'll come on here and I'll put them over. Okay, there's no freaking difference, bro. When you're a football team and your team stinks, you say they stink. You don't sit here and say, oh, well, the Bills are 0-10, but this week they only lost by 17 points. Bro, stop already. If it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good. That sucked. They should not have put the guy in a position where he could have failed. The promo on the other channel was freaking tremendous. A lot of stuff that they did on SmackDown was good that Jeff and I spoke about and freaking put over. Okay? I'm not going to stop, bro, because a couple of people on the internet, oh, these guys are beating the dead horse.
No.
Of course you're going to beat the dead horse until the dead horse is revived, bro. Of course.
Bro, this is their timeout, okay? There were 6 items on the format that Jeff sent me, okay? And you decided to go off topic, all right, to discuss something that we've been discussing every single week, okay? My point is, if we're going to be doing the show, sometimes these things...
How are we discussing the same thing every single week when there's a different show? Are we talking about the same show every week?
No, my point is, why are we even discussing the show when we have all these news items to discuss? Do we have to discuss the show? That's a good point. Jeff, was that a good point? Yes or no?
Jeff, what's next?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I want to hear what Glenn has to say about Paige's mother ripping the dirt sheets. Go ahead, Glenn. Go ahead, bro. The floor is yours. Go ahead, Jeff. Set it up and let's hear Glenn on this. This is more interesting. Go ahead.
No, you gotta give me a second because I had a good point about TNA and I didn't get to say anything and I think it's a good point, so I want to say it. One thing I've noticed with TNA, and Glenn already said this with his thoughts on Eli Drake, is I think they are producing memorable people, and they're adding to that list every single week. Eli Drake is one of them. You're not going to turn the channel if he's on. You're not going to turn the channel if Matt Hardy's on. You're not going to turn the channel if Rebby's on, if Jeff Hardy's on, okay? Allie is my favorite character in all of wrestling right now. She is the most annoying person on TV. You are not going to turn the TV when she is on. And now what they're doing with Rosemary, we've talked about this when we're going through the Attitude Era, how there were specific episodes that kind of made these people, built these people to where now you want to see them. I know we haven't seen the second part yet, but I think they're doing that with Rosemary right now. So I feel like they are going in the right direction as far as making memorable people to see on their show, not necessarily to see them wrestle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't want to change the channel. Let's see what they're doing with them. You know, that's all you really want to do when you watch a wrestling show is just not watch something and then have to start the next thing, and you don't want to change the channel when that's on and start the next thing. You know, I mean, they're getting there. They're working on that with given what they got. So I'm pleased with the direction that show takes them. I'm looking forward to seeing this week's show.
I want to hear. Go ahead, Jeff. I want to hear Glenn's take on Paige's mother.
You got to read it. Read me the thing.
Okay. Yes, we're going to read what Paige's mom has totally ripped the dirt sheets. Paige, we have noticed that she has not been on Raw since the brand split. Excuse me. She was drafted by Raw. Okay, she hasn't been on. There's been rumors floating around the internet. She's having personal issues with Del Rio. She's having meltdowns. She's pregnant. All these rumors floating around that nobody knows the truth. Okay, so her mom came out and tweeted, and her mom, you know, she wrestles as Saraya Knight, but she said, to all the dirt sheets that are slandering my daughter, you might have to get facts right before posting. Melt down my arse. She is injured. Raging right now. My daughter has an injury. No meltdown, babies, sackings, or any other BS you might read. Why don't you just ask? I suggest you tread carefully. She is 100% injured and receiving physio. No facts.
Yeah, Glenn, make a show out of that. Go ahead, bro. Make a show out of Paige's mother. Go ahead.
I mean, I consider the mom as like, you know, just delete your Twitter account if you don't want to, if this stuff aggravates you. You know, I mean, like, you're just gonna get trolls, and you know that's what these people are gonna do. They're gonna make up stuff.
We got one on this show.
You're gonna make up stuff, and that's you know. I think it's. I'm always entertained when parents defend. You've tried to humiliate my mother on this show before, and I thought that was a disgraceful action by you. When I had my mother,
you know,
on,
I'm very pissed off at you right now. Okay, I want Glenn, Jeff. I want him to make a story. I want Glenn to, because we went off topic, bro. I want Glenn to make a story out of Lilian Garcia leaving the WWE. Go ahead, throw it over to the host of the show.
I think he's bashing my. I think he's bashing my format.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I want to hear Glenn's comments on Lilian Garcia leaving the WWE. Go ahead.
Who's replacing her?
I think JoJo's on Raw, and
right. I don't know who these announcers are, by the way. I mean, somebody told me like.
Okay, Lilian Garcia, you know who she is, right? She's been there since '99. She's turning 50 this month, which is absolutely unbelievable. She's got to be the best-looking 50-year-old in the history of the world. But she's leaving because to help take care of her father. He's battling 2 different types of cancer, so she's going to leave to go help her father. I think that's very honorable.
Yeah, I think that's extreme. Yeah, I mean, it's who would do that? I mean, she's obviously probably made a pretty good buck in her life, you know, like working there. I wonder if Vince is helping her out too with her dad, you know.
You know, I want everybody to see, because now he's got me pissed off over there, the scallywag, and I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why the scallywag has me pissed off. Because all of a sudden he decides, I'm not going to look at the show on a weekly basis because the dweebs and the nimrods on the internet are saying we sound like a broken record. Yeah, bro, we sound like a broken record because we review each and every show. So if each and every show sucks, we're going to say it sucks, which I don't because I put SmackDown over. But then he says, bro, we went off topic. Oh, you went off topic. Oh, this and that. So I want everybody to see this is why Glenn is guests on all these shows. My show, Conan's show, Court Bauer show. He's always a guest because he doesn't have the capacity to run a podcast because he doesn't understand when there is a lack of news, you have to take a topic and you have to make something out of it. So I'm interested to hear what Glenn, I want Glenn to stretch out this topic now. Let's make believe Glenn's the host of the show. Vince isn't even here. Okay, tell him topic number 5, Jeff. Let's hear his 10-minute ramble on this.
Well, the reason why I put this one on the list is because a lot of people are making a big deal out of this, and I wanted your guys' opinion on if it should be a big deal or not, because you've both worked for this company and I haven't. So apparently, and I don't know if this has been confirmed, but Dixie was only at the first day of the last TNA television taping. She wasn't there for the second day or however many days there were. She was only there for the first day because she left for a safari vacation in Africa. So, is this a big deal? Is it not a big deal? Should she be there?
Let's ask Vince.
No, it's your show, bro. Go ahead, bro. You listen. You got 30. Wait a minute. You got 30 minutes on this topic, bro. Because okay. I can't talk about Finn Balor's interview. So you've got 30 minutes on this topic. Go.
Okay, I don't think it's a big deal at all. Okay, because Dixie probably does not run the operations of the TV taping involved with the producing talent production show. She's just there. Number 2, I would definitely like to hear Vince's take on this, since Vince was the head writer for WCW when he wrote shows that were supposed to be televised in Australia, and he decided that after the shows were written that, hey, you know what, I'm just going to sit this trip out, and I'm going to go watch the Giants games in San Francisco. So, Vince, let's discuss that. I would like to get your take on Dixie leaving the TV taping, since you were actually in a position of more authority. Okay, where you wrote the show, but decided not to take the trip and dump it in everybody else's lap, and decided to go watch the Giants games instead.
Well, you have another 20 minutes on the topic. Go ahead.
No. I want to hear your opinion on this.
In television, the writers aren't ever at the show.
First of all, Jeff. First of all, okay, it is a big deal. Okay, let me tell you why it's a big deal. I'll tell you why, okay? Because I was connected to Vince McMahon's hip for 5 years. In those 5 years, there wasn't one single day off. In those 5 years, Vince McMahon was the first one to arrive at Titan Tower, the last one to leave. That is called leading by example. When your boss is the first one at work and the last one to leave, you follow suit and you carry yourself the same way. When I was at TNA, Jeff, Dixie literally was on vacation every 3 months. Every 3 months there was a vacation. So what did that lead to? That led to going to a TV and the guy saying, "Where's Dixie?" And the answer being, "Dixie's on vacation," and the guy saying, "Vacation again?" Well, if our boss doesn't give an F about this TV, why should we? That's why it matters, bro. That's why I'm the host of this show, and you can only come on for your little spurts here and there and your little words of wisdom here and there, and you can't carry a show because you don't even know that the number one trait of any boss is to lead by example. That example isn't, "Oh, my vacation is more important than this TV." That's not a good example, bro.
Can I read you something? This is from June 22nd, or this is actually from the week of June 22nd, 2016. Let me read you a piece of little wrestling news now. What were you saying about Vince McMahon? Never missed a day of work. Let me just read you something from June 26th.
Okay.
No word yet on. Listen. No word yet on why, but Vince McMahon was not at this week's WWE Raw or SmackDown. As noted, Stephanie McMahon was also absent as she was at the Cannes Lion Festival in France.
Okay. So
obviously, it's
what does that have to do with what I just said?
It's only a big deal when Dixie leaves. Dixie goes on a safari. Bro, what if she didn't? That's not, yeah, but what are you saying? Vince McMahon just missed the TV tapings a couple weeks ago.
Bro, okay.
So what's this deal?
Okay, what did I just? You see, what I just said went in one ear and out the other. Dixie goes on vacation every 3 or 6 months. Every 3 or 6 months, you're on vacation. Bro, number two, with all due respect, Vince McMahon is 70 freaking years old, bro. He probably can't work the schedule he used to be able to work. I would think that has something to do with it. Bro, you ever think of playing the role of an aardvark on one of these safaris? Maybe while Dixie's on a safari, she can put in your resume, Glenn Gilbernetti wants to be an aardvark at this safari. How about that, bro? You're going to compare Dixie Carter going on vacation every 3 months to a 70-year-old man taking a break.
No, I'm just going to say the point being is Jeff asked the question, was this a big deal? My personal answer is it's obviously not a big deal since you've done it, Vince McMahon has done it, Stephanie McMahon has done it, everybody's done it. No, it's not a big deal. There's vacation time. It's it is what it is. We know.
That's where you're wrong. I didn't do it. See, you're making my point here. I didn't go on the Australian tour because I didn't want to and because I didn't care. So if Dixie Carter is not going to the television tapings because she didn't want to or because she doesn't care, you just made my point, bro. If I cared, I would have went. I didn't care, so I went to the Giant game. You understand how you just made my point?
But my answer is still the same. No, to me, it's not a big deal. To you, it might be, but my personal opinion, it's not.
Bro,
there's 52 weeks of TV.
Can I tell you something as a shoot? Like, I'm starting to like you less and less. And I didn't think that was possible because I didn't like you.
Let me bring up a very good point. I want to bring up a point.
I'm starting to like you less and less, bro.
Maybe next week, maybe next week for the show, you shouldn't plan a 10-minute opening where you're reading names from Twitter where people are making fun of me, what they should rename me and stuff. Maybe you'll rethink trying to spend 10 minutes of your show to try to discredit my good name and embarrass me and stuff.
Who's
future purposes?
Who's your
maybe
football?
The next time you're
Bro, who's your football team? The Falcons?
Yeah, the Falcons.
Okay, I can't wait.
Actually, here's my favorite. My favorite team is always my fantasy football team. My second favorite team is my Falcons.
Okay, bro, you're going off on a tangent. Jeff, I can't wait one year, and I hope it's this year, that the Falcons open up 0-10. Okay? And Glenn comes on the show and says, well, I'm not going to assess them till they're 0-14. They're only 10 games in. They got a new opening. There's a new opening to the show. So I'm not going to assess the Falcons till they're 0-14. All right, bro. That sounds like a plan right there. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, but it's not going to happen. We're going to the Super Bowl this year.
Jeff, what's the last thing you got?
Well, I just
Wait, before we get to the last thing, I think you owe me an apology before we get to the last topic. Because you because
you're paying me.
I invite you on the show. I bring you on the show so you get all kinds of exposure. Okay, nobody would know Glenn Gilbernetti if he wasn't on the show. I give you all kinds of exposure. You come on here smug with a chip on your shoulder. Your word's the final word. When you say something, that's the end of the conversation. We can't even go on anymore. And all of a sudden, bro, Raw's got a new entrance, so I'm not going to critique it every week. I'm going to wait till it stinks for the next 90 days, then we'll talk about it.
No, but you have a show already that you do. You review the Raw show. Okay, if you want to bring me into discussion about reviewing the Raw show, bro, we could sit here for 3 hours and nitpick the things that they're doing. Okay, but we've done that so much over the past months that we've been on. I just think it gets it's just gets repetitive at some point unless something really sticks out. Okay, Finn Balor doing 5 sentences on Monday Night Raw to me did not stick out like a sore thumb of something that they're doing, considering where they're going with the character. That's all I'm saying. It's just like, bro, I'm not going to deny that it's not a good promo because I've seen the guy. He doesn't cut good promos. But maybe they could take this storyline, this unassuming little guy that can't cut promos, and maybe when they turn him into Demon, his actions speak louder than words. He's cool, like the way Sting was. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
But we don't have to agree on everything, But and plus, whenever you do disagree with me, I win. All the time, I'm always right. So that's one thing that I think you really need to consider when you try to argue with me on these points and stuff. And is that you're not going to win, because I'm just basically when they hear me speak, they know they're getting probably the right side of the story.
Jeff, you know what's interesting about these ratings when I looked at them, bro? There was a minimal loss. I mean, minimal. I mean, not even worth talking about. But you know what's interesting to me, bro?
They both dropped exactly the same.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. I could not believe they both dropped exactly the same, bro, which has to tell you. I mean, obviously, the bulk of the audience or the audience that watches both of these shows. You know what I'm saying? Because I was shocked by both of them dropped just about exactly the same. But the one thing that stands out, Glenn, let me throw this at you. Am I allowed to bring up something else about Raw? Or sure. do you want to go back to Paige's mother?
Sure, go ahead.
You're so smug. You got that smug look on your face that sickens you.
No, you lose your composure is the problem. Okay,
he's on the cover of Vogue though. He's earned it.
I'm a supermodel. I'm brave enough to post my haircuts and put them on Twitter.
Glenn, let me ask you this.
You're in there with dolls and toys in the background.
Glenn, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. And I'm asking you this. I'm not taking a negative stance. I'm asking you a question. Okay? Now, as me and Jeff do these Attitude Era shows and the Nitro shows during that time, it's very clear, bro, from hour 1 to hour 2, the audience rises. The audience was built. You're building them to the main event. So you had more people watching hour 2 than watched hour 1 for both WCW and WWE. Well, bro, today we get the opposite where as the show progresses, numbers, they're losing audience as the show progresses. And, of course, everybody says, well, it's 10 to 11 o'clock at night. Everybody's going to bed. Well, they weren't going to bed during the Monday Night Wars. But, Glenn, does it not surprise you a little where from hour 1 to hour 3, they lost almost 500,000 people promoting Brock Lesnar was going to be in the third hour. Like, I mean, bro, I can't sit here and fathom the WWE universe does not care about Brock Lesnar, and 500,000 people are going to tune out before he even makes his appearance. Like, I can't comprehend or understand that. What would be your explanation? I mean, I can't believe people don't care about Brock Lesnar.
Well, they're not, because people know that if all they're doing is promoting Brock Lesnar, all Brock Lesnar's going to do is stand in the ring while Paul Heyman cuts a promo. Okay? If they would have promoted a Brock Lesnar, bro, I don't know how hard it would have been to bring Brock Lesnar on that show and have him wrestle a match. I mean, he can't wrestle somebody. You know, is his deal like specifically have a certain number of matches in his appearance dates, or is it just appearances? Or it's a weird deal, bro. It's so simple. Brock Lesnar versus whoever for later on. Brock Lesnar's here tonight. He's the main. That would. I think I'd stay. You show Brock Lesnar showing up to the building. Maybe like somebody says they saw Randy Orton. That they're at the Atlanta. There's a report of why is Randy Orton in Atlanta, Georgia. And then that's the thread. So it's like, but just saying, hey, Brock Lesnar's going to be here. Bro, but let me tell you something. Like, as good as he is on the mic, a Paul Heyman promo doesn't sell to your audience. I mean, the people that watch the show like his promos, but they've seen it so many times. Yeah. You knew you were going to get Brock Lesnar in the ring, cutting a promo. But that's to say, I don't understand why they don't. He's on these shows. You got 3 hours. Yeah. He can't kind of promo and have a match. I mean, I'd really like to know what the details of his deal is. Yeah,
he's got to get paid per match, bro. He has to. He's got to get. But even so, I mean, come on, the WWE could afford to pay him whatever it is. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah, right, exactly. Just wrestle, put him in a match. I guarantee you the rating probably go up.
Hey, Glenn, here's the other thing. You said you really watched both shows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Glenn, let me ask you this. From
I DVR'd both, and I watched both of them.
Glenn, I got to tell you this from and again, see, and this isn't a nitpick because I'm not nitpicking. I understand why they did it, and I don't have a problem with why they did it. But I think if I was booking the end of SmackDown, I think I would have let Orton get to Lesnar again.
Like after he got laid out?
No, before.
Oh, before he
Before Lesnar got to to Orton, I would have had Orton get to Lesnar again 2 times in a row, bro. Lesnar going all the way to that show to seek revenge, only to have Orton beat him to the punch. I think that would have been a little bit more interesting. That's all.
Bro, you know what else would have been really interesting too? And bro, this morning I woke up. And I went on YouTube, and I just started. I'll surf. I watch matches, bro. I was watching matches today from when Abdullah the Butcher and the Sheik were tag team partners in Japan. Okay, and I was just thinking about this: is that their matches were just absolute chaos. Mm-hmm. There'd be brawling in the stage. In Japan they have the other wrestlers around the ring. The other wrestlers are trying to break them up. They're beating up the other. It's just this is absolute 10 minutes of chaos, and they drew huge crowds, bro. Why couldn't Brock Lesnar just have utter chaos there with those security guards?
Yeah.
Like they peacefully walked him out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I would have thought that should have been a very
That's
violent
a great question, Glenn. Glenn, why would you have security guards there that he's not going to lay out? You know what I mean?
Bro, they should have had about 7 or 8 guys brawl, and bro, could you imagine him just leaving 8 guys laying and standing tall?
Listen, Glenn, don't nitpick. Don't nitpick. Give them the benefit of the doubt. They got a new set. Let's see. Maybe next week Brock Lesnar lays out security guards. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't nitpick. All right?
So what you did is you got me in there to talk about a specific thing. My specific point was I'm not going to nitpick Finn Balor categorically yet based on where I know his character's going to go. Bro, that's all I'm saying.
listen, you're trying to gain points with the internet wrestling community now because now Jeff, here's what it is. He's associating himself with Vince Russo now. He's getting some of the Vince Russo heat that he can't handle. He's not man enough to handle it. I take the heat head on, bro. He can't handle it because he wants to be popular over with the crowd. So now he's got to back up and now he's got to play. Oh, that's nitpicking Vince. Let's wait 6 weeks. Because they got a new entrance. That's what I'm hearing, bro. Quite frankly.
I don't know. If you look at his Twitter timeline, that would kind of go against that theory. The things he tweets that angers everybody.
So but basically you're trying to discredit me. You got in more falsehoods, trying to discredit me again, everything. But I am what I am. I have my own opinions. I don't care. If you can like him, but that's the thing. I'm not gonna be mad at people for disagreeing with what I like or dislike.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you because I'm not mad at you because you're disagreeing with me. I'm mad at you because I don't like you. I just don't like you. It has nothing to do with whether you agree or disagree. I don't like you. You're very smug. You think very highly of yourself. And I don't like you that much. It's got nothing to do with agreeing or disagreeing. I just don't like you as a human being.
That's fine. But I mean I think highly of myself from a good.
You think?
Yeah, but I should.
Yeah.
Because of very.
Hey, bro, I want to ask you a question. You know that kid you trained there, Kevin Cross?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you see him this week?
No, I haven't seen him in a few weeks.
Yeah, bro, because I saw him over the weekend. We worked together, and I think he got hurt. I was just curious to see how he was doing.
Oh, I can find out. How did he? Where'd you see him at?
We did a show.
Let me talk about this. You tweeted about that Dalton Castle kid, huh?
Oh yeah, bro. Have you seen this kid? What an entertaining kid.
I've heard about him, but I have not seen him. I was thinking of maybe watching some of that. Where does he wrestle?
He wrestles at Ring of Honor.
He wrestles a decent sized guy. What does he look like?
No, not bro. You know who he reminds me a lot like, but he's a little bigger than him. He looks a lot like Chris Sabin. He reminded me physically. He looks a lot like Sabin, a little taller, little bigger than Sabin. But bro, what a freaking gimmick and character this kid had. I mean, I popped huge for this kid.
What's his gimmick?
Bro, you gotta see it. You gotta see it. I mean, he's 100% showman. Jeff, you've seen him, right?
Yeah. And
how would
Cross is Howard Cross the guy we had breakfast with in Dallas, right?
Yes, yeah.
He's got a great look, man. Yeah. I think he's.
Your boy Cross thought he might have torn a groin, so I was a little concerned with him because those take forever to heal.
Yeah, that's bad. That's not good. That's not good.
All right, listen. Any last words? Give us the Conan plug. Anything else? Go ahead. The Glenn Gilbernetti at the Glenn Gilbernetti. Go ahead. What do you want to put over?
Well, first of all, you can catch me on Keeping It 100. Yeah. Also, you can catch me at The Real Disco on my Twitter, where you hear the musings of myself and my brilliant tweets and stuff. And you can actually see every 3 weeks or so, I will post my fresh haircut, and I will have a haircut picture posted. If you are a fan of haircuts, like I am, then you can see my haircut pics. And also, you can catch me at Sapphire Gentlemen's Club in Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you're ever in town and want to come frequent the club, just dial 702-303-3430. Mention me, and that we'll send you a free limo to pick you up, and I'll get you a free drink.
Bro,
I got a lot of stuff going on, Vince.
Bro, what if I got kids listening to this show and you're telling them to come to a gentleman's club? What about that?
Well, the kids that listen to this show, they don't go to gentlemen's clubs, so they wouldn't even apply. All right.
All right, listen.
The kids that listen to this show would rather go shake Dean Ambrose's hand to get a lap dance.
Yeah,
all right?
Do me a favor. Say goodbye, because this is where I take the last 5 minutes to bury you when you're gone. So say goodbye. Goodbye, Glenn.
Wait a minute. I've heard some of these the last 5 minutes after I leave before, and you're gonna pay for that too.
All right, bye. See you. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks for joining us. Thank you. He's starting to get on my nerves, bro.
I couldn't tell.
He's starting to freaking get on. You know what it is? Here's what gets on my nerves about him. First of all, Jeff, how many hours combined do you and I put into the Realm Network? How many, Jeff? A week. Roughly. 100?
A week?
What am I talking about? 100. That would be only 50 hours a week. Yeah, the whole week, bro. How many hours would you say?
Oh, jeez.
100 hours easy, bro. I mean, easy. 20 hours a day, easy combined.
Combined, yes.
Yeah, combined. Yeah, no, I'm talking combined. Me and you. An easy 100. Yeah, that's the thing, bro. We put 100 hours combined into this show, even on the weekends. He comes on here for his 30 minutes, and he decides he's going to lay down the ground rules. These are the topics we're going to talk about, and after I make my statement, we're done talking about the topic. That pisses me off, bro.
You just got two bulls with the same personalities.
I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt, Vince. We're gonna start because we come on here and talk about the same thing every week. We're gonna give it the no, bro. That was the first Finn Balor interview I've ever talked about. That, as a matter of fact, that might have been the first Finn Balor interview I ever heard. So I definitely haven't spoken about it before.
Well, and you hadn't spoken about it with him, too. You wanted his opinion on it. You wanted to talk to him about it.
Hey, Jeff, let me ask you this. You know what my feeling is? See, this is where I may be overthinking it. And I'm going to wrap it up after this. I don't want to go too much longer with you. But I really sat down and I really watched both shows in their entirety. Okay, bro? This is where I may be overthinking it. I want to see what you think. Bro, after watching both shows, I really felt like there was more of an air of freedom on the SmackDown show. I felt for some reasons that the performers were given a little bit more of a leeway to get themselves and their promos over. And the reason why I say that is this. I've written a million promos. I've heard a million promos. No way either of those two promos were scripted. Ambrose and Ziggler, and definitely Cena and AJ. No way. Now, you don't write those promos. So, like, I know when I'm hearing authentic words or not. So, like, I kind of get the feeling that at SmackDown, they're being given this opportunity to spread their wings a little bit. But at Raw, like, I'm still feeling like it's very boom, 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 boom. Now, again, bro, we've only seen this split for 2 weeks. But do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, did you feel any of that at all?
Yeah, and I said, I don't know, maybe this was a phone conversation we have, but I feel like, I don't know if it's because SmackDown's traditionally been the B show, but I feel like maybe Vince McMahon doesn't have the reins as tight on SmackDown's creative as he does on Raw. I feel like maybe they're allowed to do more things that they're coming up with instead of having to run it through the top of the chain. That's just obviously just opinion from watching the shows. But you look at how many different stylistic things there are between Raw, with the style of the wrestling, the format of the show, the announcers, the the angles they're running, the stuff backstage. It's just very different than Raw. And I don't know, just from an outsider looking in, it does look like that there's more creative freedom on SmackDown than there is.
Yeah, I think, bro, the reality of the situation is if you're putting, the main focus on Raw, a 3-hour show, and that's where the main focus is going, and I'm sure it is, you don't have that much time to pay that much attention to the show on Tuesday. You just don't. So there definitely is some of that spilling over without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, but it's just interesting to see 3 months from now where the products stand as far as are they both going to stay with this format, where the ratings stand. Right now, the audience is not migrating to Tuesdays yet. I mean, they're up for SmackDown. SmackDown's way up, but compared to Raw, it's still down. They both dropped the same in the rating as we talked. So just be interesting to see where these numbers are at in 3 months.
Yeah. Everybody, we will be back here, same time, same bat channel tomorrow. Take care, everybody.